This video might sound weird because my AC's on. It'll be hot as shit if I don't have it on, so I'm gonna keep it on. This video, I wanted to talk about how I changed in terms of the treatment that I saw in other people and the way that I treated other people just in general. So one of the things that I see on Reddit a lot is people saying that they want to lose weight because they want to gain respect. Being at an obese weight, I can tell you up front that a lot of people do outright like show animosity or just outright hate you because you're overweight, and that's unfortunate, but that's just the way things go. So I thought every single time someone treated me poorly, it was strictly because I was fat. So as I was reflecting when I was losing weight, I was realizing that I really didn't treat people positively. I would approach everyone either neutrally or with a slightly like negative tone, or like a negative demeanor. And basically, if someone didn't act positive after I acted that way, I would still act neutrally or negatively. They would have to act positive towards me for a while if I even began to kind of open up and be positive towards them. Basically, I just had my walls up from, being that weight in middle school. But I totally overestimated how I treated people because I always thought that I treated people positively. But when I was that weight, and I feel like a lot of people would relate, is that I totally overestimated my effort that I put in things, and one of those things being my treatment towards people. So I always thought that I was positive and things like that, but that wasn't true. A few people that I ran into after I lost weight told me that they didn't recognize me from the physical standpoint, but also like the demeanor standpoint. They said that I walked around with like a really pissed off or like a grumpy mean mug, and I never noticed that. Like I really never noticed that. But I'm glad people pointed that out to me now because that explains a lot of the way people treated me. Essentially, when it came to me approaching people, first impressions and things, I assumed negative intention. And from there, basically, if I overthought anything negative that they said, or if they were just in a bad mood, I would just blow that up and put that on me. So if any like minor mishap or if someone was like overtly rude, I would view that as fat phobic. And I hate the term fat phobic, but just because it's overused and used in like a more helpless sort of context. But in here, it's pretty accurate. I thought people were just, treating me that way because I was fat. But as I was losing weight, I was gaining a lot more confidence, and I was just overall a more positive person. So because I was naturally more confident and more happy, I was approaching people in a more like upbeat manner, in a more like understanding sort of tone. So people would mirror that. And so I thought people were treating me better because I lost weight. And as I was losing weight, people were treating me better. But as I was losing weight, I was treating people better, and I was a more pleasant person to be around. Now when people talk to me and they're super negative, I just realize I'm like, yeah, the person's just super miserable and they're having, a pretty bad day. But I'm not going to take it personally because that's just how people sometimes are. I see a lot of people on Reddit talk about how they want to go into weight loss because they want people to respect them. And I'll be honest, like when you're overweight, I think it's the disrespect that you receive is proportional to how heavy you are. So first impressions are made instantly. You can't help that. And for the most part, people will, underestimate your intelligence, overestimate your sense of humor, things like that. But as I lose weight, I understood that respect has to be earned regardless of your weight. And it's not going to be automatically earned when you meet someone new based on, how thin you are. And I don't mean this in the respect isn't bought, it's leased and the rent's due every day. Like, I don't mean it like that. I just mean like people will have like a neutral view of you until you perform certain actions. But being thin, people can kind of guess that you have some sort of sense of control and, you're healthy and you treat yourself right. So once I became genuinely confident and kind, that changed everything. That alone sways a first impression. So even though I wasn't thin, like at 250, just being confident and kind to people overrid the first impression of viewing me at that weight. To be honest, I think I was most judgmental and dismissive of other people at my highest weight. I would spend a lot of time judging people for literally anything. And I was miserable, like all of my time behind closed doors or in real life or whatever. I was just like silently judging people. It was purely escapism and distracting myself from viewing myself and knowing that I had to change. I'm not saying every fat person is going to be like that, but that was definitely for me. Conversely, I think that thin people have those fat phobic tendencies and the animosity towards overweight people because there's a fear of slipping into that and losing control and being claustrophobic in that body. So regardless if you view being overweight is strictly you being lazy and not being able to control what you eat, or as like a genuine addiction and that person's gripped by the addiction. I think on both sides, it's like completely just the internal fear and insecurity, and people are going to project that onto each other. Losing weight and the treatment of other people is kind of going down to the 80-20 rule, because when you become thin, I think that's 20% of the results. People are going to treat you better because you're thinner, but 80% of the proper treatment comes from you approaching people more confidently and kindly. And that's kind of interesting. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, like, share it with a friend if they might enjoy it. I'll see you in the next one.